Mickey, I'm afraid practice doesn't begin until 9 o'clock. So he took that with good grace, didn't realise what the situation was. He sat in the chair next to the table for 45 minutes, and then as soon as practice was allowed, he was back on the table. So talk about keen, talk about dedicated.
Dedication is right. And a real good sign for Krause out of the gate. He's dropped down here, doesn't want to get awkward on the three. He's got a good line to get upwards for the purple. Pink right here on the center diamond, on the rail.
Obviously feeling a little chilly, so he's playing in a coat rather than a shirt.
Yeah, it's funny that you point that out, Phil. A lot of these guys saying that they're cold. By the time they're done, they're typically not playing in the coat. I'm gonna draw two rails out to the purple. Needs to carry. Well, this is almost ideal. Just got there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Scott, this is what you call a lightning fast start.
From what I've seen so far, that break, you couldn't ask for any more out of it. Perfect opener.
You see their extension. That's because on the main table, it is a 30-second shot clock with 1 30-second extension allowed per player per rack. From tomorrow, the last 2 days of the event, both tables will have a shot clock.
Yeah, thank you for that, Phil. Mickey feeling very good. Got nice and tight on the 7 so he could come back. Could have got on the shallow side. That's why he wanted to get close to it. A little flinch of the wrist there, but sending a message early to one Joshua Filler.
What do they say? The early bird gets the worm. Well, he certainly got the first rack in very convincing fashion. Now, Mickey Krause arrives in this match undefeated. Had a bye in the first round. He beat a good Belgian player, Cliff Casterline, 9-4 in his first actual involvement, and then overcame Koping Han yesterday in winners' qualification, 9-8. He was 8-5 down. Koping Han, the youngest of the three co-brothers, had an opportunity to win 9-5, and he screwed the length of the table in off, scratched. Krause took his chance, eventually won it hill-hill. As for Joshua Filler, well, he arrives here not undefeated. He had a bye in the first round, then he beat Erik Hjorleifsen from Canada. But then came a real shock on table 1, losing 9-6 to Jeffrey Rodder of the Philippines. That sent him to losers qualification, and he played his match in that on this table last night, and I'll tell you what, it was rapido. He beat Jeremy Sosi 9-0.
That's a great break. He's repeated this now. This is the second time. The problem, 2 didn't fall. Watch the 2. It's tracking 3 rails directly towards the left middle. If that ball goes, it's another road map, I believe. So he's full ball snookered behind the 2. He's going to have to figure out a rollout. He's got 60 seconds to evaluate. I don't know that makes you want to go up there towards the 6. If there's any areas that I think a player like Filler can exploit with Mickey Krause, it could possibly be the rollout. I don't know how bad it is if you just rolled the pink onto the 3. At least tie something up. Maybe get the cue ball here on the bottom rail. Dangerous going up table against Filler like this, Phil.
Yeah, I think we should lay down the ground rules for this. One thing you don't want to do is leave Filler open balls.
Yeah, this is terrible, to be honest with you. Filler should take advantage. You can't afford to do this at this stage of the game at the U.S. Open against what I think is quite possibly the best player on earth, especially when he gets going.
Joshua Filler might take that in the form of umbrage. The cheek of the fellow leaving me this, he might be thinking.
Well, exactly, and you see the shake of the head on Mickey Krause there on the replay. Listen, at this level, you can't do that. You can't just leave the straightest shooter in the world a good shot. You know, he didn't fall perfect on the 3, so this is tricky. Very well done. He's left-handed. He will get through this pink 4 now and off to the races.
Doing that, leaving that ball on, that's a bit like when you fire up a batter by intentionally walking the guy in front. You're saying, I don't think you're up to it. Well, we know Joshua Filler is.
I don't know if it was a mental error on Mickey's part or just inexperience with the rollout, but you can't play at this level and not understand where to put the cue ball.
I think there are live, legitimate, valid debates about who is the very best in the business. When it comes to pure potting, though, that natural potting eye, you have to say Filler.
I would agree. Like to get off the rail here. He might go forward. He's just held it. He's not afraid to take the long shot off the rail. Just looking to drift this in. Yeah, very clean. So off of the push out, Filler going to do some damage.
Quickly equalises, and that push out might have a wider ranging effect than just the loss of the second rack for Mickey Krause. It might fire up Filler. He's an amiable sort, but might feel a little aggrieved about that. The cheek of it. Scores around this superb arena. Vitaly Pachura of Ukraine, who beat Fedor Gorst yesterday in winners' qualification. He's taken the first rack from Sullivan Clark. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 1-0 up on Oscar Dominguez. Same for Max Lechner over Nick Malay. It's a battle of the Alexanders Alex Paguline and Alexander Kazakis. On table 5, they're still involved in their first rack. Would you believe 9 Filipinos have made the last 64? One of them being Bernie Regulario, who leads João Grillo 1-0. Romania's Babkin Melkonyan 1-0 upon Mark Bosch. And Shea Chia Chin leads his fellow Chinese Taipei player, Liu Riteng, 2-0. Also a very good start for Moritz Neuhausen, Joshua Filler's World Cup partner, who leads Dennis Grabber 2-0.
9 Filipinos in the final 64. It gives you an idea of the depth of the Filipino contingent and this event. Filler is dry.
Yeah, 29 countries have made the last 64. The Philippines and the USA have 9 players each left. Next best is Chinese Taipei with 6. So no real surprises there. The usual suspects.
Needs to be careful here. Does he want to just play the 3 past the green 6 up in the top left? I think you're forced to do that. You do not want to contend with the 7 or the purple 5. Nothing easy here. Phil and I touched on this yesterday. A lot of times it's that second point that gets these players. We think it's something mental.
That's what they do. They take it into that right-hand jaw as we're looking, or left hand on the other side of the table. It's as though they think the point might be sticking out more than the other one, but that's not the case.
Starting to pick up the pace, Mickey Krause. Just wants to draw back here. This cue ball looks pretty tight. Everything okay. One rail up. Wants to continue to carry a big line. Yeah, that wants to run. Doesn't want to get straight. This will be okay. Come 2 rails out towards the right side pocket. Mickey Krause, outside of the push that I was clearly not a big fan of, is looking pretty good.
He most certainly is. Phillip broke dry, and that was the extent of his involvement in rack 3. Mickey Krause back in front at 2-1. Tell you one thing, the weather here in Atlantic City is superior to the weather back home in Denmark. I was watching a European Tour golf event live this morning from Denmark, and it looked very dull, damp, as the Scots say, dreek. Here, it's what they call Chamber of Commerce weather. It's the kind of day where the Chamber of Commerce will take photographs of their town because it looks absolutely tremendous, doesn't it? The sun shimmering on the Atlantic Ocean, on the Back Bay as well, where we are. Yeah, Atlantic City today is bathed in sunshine. But of course, we're indoors.
Well, Phil, you make me want to put down the microphone and go outside. Last night it was absolutely beautiful as well. Watched the sun go down, glimmering all over the water out in the back. Taking a little extra time to rack these balls. I wonder if struggling there to get them frozen. John Lehman. Doing a great job. Glad to see him back. Mickey Krause has had success on the break. I think he's 2 for 2 with the 1 into the left middle. Commentator Jinx is real and alive. Lost the cue ball low as well. Yeah, very thin hit. Caught the bottom edge of the 9. He's not happy about it.
Yeah, couldn't hide his frustration at that one. The 9 ball stayed where it was until it was kicked.
Notice the time Filler is putting into this. There's nothing wrong with just rolling this cue ball to the left side, maybe into the gap window between the 2 and 7. Maybe taking on the 2-rail kick if Mickey passes it up. The 1 has sideboards into the left side pocket. You just don't want to leave anything straight forward. Coming to the right side and forcing a bank, well, that's okay too if you'd like. Just as long as you're not leaving them something straight in. Mickey quickly to the table. He's taking it on. Oh, what a shot. What great control. I don't think Filler meant to leave it that easy. It was like a stun drag draw. A nice medium pace. Got the cue ball nice and tight behind the 9. It's got options. You can try to come 2 rails or 3 rails behind the 1. He's got to come tight and catch a gap. And that is not the gap.
And at this level, against such a quality opponent, Joshua Filler only too well aware that if you leave ball in hand, more than likely you are going to be punished with the ultimate sanction, loss of rack. Mind you, with the 4 squarely behind the 8 here, not entirely straightforward, but that looks to be okay.
Yeah, and if you're Josh Filler, you just don't want this starting to slip away. Now, this might slip away. I believe the pink 4 was close to frozen. If it was, that low outside ball is easy to lose. Does he go with the bank? Oh boy, I knew right away he hit it great. Things looking up for Krause. He's still got work to do, Phil.
Just seems to have come of age though, doesn't he? It wasn't just the fact he won the European Open, he also won the Mez Bucharest Open. He's had lots of other high placings this year. Well, now, I'll tell you what, this is a shot that could go astray. Horrible cueing from the jaws of the middle pocket.
I'm a little surprised he pulled it back that far.
He will be relieved with that one. 7-9 combination, and Mickey Krause leads 3-1. I was chatting with him this morning, as I said, and I was making the point in Q Sports, winning becomes a habit. When you're in that zone and you get good results, it seems as though, for whatever reason, good results follow on top. And we were making the point that yesterday he could have so easily been beaten, and he came through 9-8. Now, this time last year, when things weren't going well, he probably would have been beaten. Momentum is a big alloy.
Yeah, and that momentum in this sport, for some reason, proves to be so extremely powerful. Mickey Krause, building off the success of the last few weeks.
Plenty of success for Moritz Neuhausen, 3-0 up on Dennis Graver. Kopin Yi, 3-0 up on Elliot Sanderson. Albin Auschen having early problems against Do Tae Kien of Vietnam. The Vietnamese player leads 2-0. Koping Han, he's 2-0 up on Jonathan Pinagar. Babken Melkonyan, 2-0 on Mark Beisterbosch. And the same for Bernie Regulario over Zhao Griot. Alex Pagulayan has drawn first blood against Alexander Kazakis. I was looking down the last 64 lineup today, and all of them, I think, in terms of international competition, are instantly recognizable names, with one exception. An American, Chris McDaniel, who plays Skylar Woodward later. So well done to Chris for getting through.
Yeah, big congratulations to Chris. He's out of Denver, Colorado. Doing Denver well. They've got to be proud of him. Coming long with the one there. It seemed like another little miss hit. Trying to take a look. Not getting a lot of power. I think that's intentional. Filler, very creative in these areas. Oh, wow. Wow. So close to catching a kiss. Stunned the cue ball over maybe 6 inches. Across the face of the one, just past the two. I don't think you hit this too hard because you've got so many cover options down there. Well, it's going to work out, Phil.
As they say, he doesn't want it back.
Yeah, you know when it's early in the rack and they're kicking at balls. Especially when the layout's something like this. There's balls out in the middle, balls towards each end. A lot of good things can happen. Making the hit is most important. Does he want to come behind the one here? Is the 5 in the way? Yeah, he's trying to come by the one, and if he doesn't, he makes it in the corner. No love for the German.
One problem solved, another rears its head, and this might be even trickier.
Yeah, Phil, so their thought process there is, if I hit it going in, I might make it. If I don't, I'm going to come behind it and finish real good. Oh, this is a good sign for Filler. He knocks in the long ball.
This is so unfortunate. He's hooked again. 1, 2, 3. All hooked.
Yeah, does he just stop here? Does he try to stay aggressive or greedy and try and run out? See, I like that decision. I don't know if it's going to get up to the top rail. I like the decision. He didn't try to make it. Caught it a little thin. Big smile from Josh. I've got to say, this young man has really improved his mental game. Been a class act. Last several years at the table. He has nothing to prove. He knows how great he is. He just went ahead and said, let me cinch the 4, go into the back of the 5. Don't mind the decision at all. Impossible not to get a shot on the 5. Float this into the lower right. He's just way overcut it. You can shoot that ball into a pretty bad place and have it still go, but you can't overcut it that much. Yeah, it's a pretty special hit there. Can he get to the back of this ball? I don't know that he even wants to, but it's an option. Yeah, so he's going to elevate, possibly banking this. Oh, he was completely hooked, Phil.
Having a useful role, I think, in this particular rack. But Phil turns the tables.
Yeah, he literally turns the tables. He's so great at the drag stroke. Calling his extension. What does he want to do here? Is he looking to make it in the lower right? No, he might be rolling this and trying to play the cue ball behind the 7. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was close enough. I can't fault him for the shot. He was close enough to where he could control it. He just caught it way too thick. The aim point just wasn't on. Against a guy like Filler, that's really where you have to capitalize.
And of course, so far we've seen matches raced at 8s on the one-loss side, 9 on the winner's side, and in losers qualification. Now we're in single elimination. The race expands to 10, and that means a little more breathing space. I can see this one going deep. Right now, Mickey Krause leads 3-2. In the last 32, the winner of this will take on either João Griot or Bernie Regulario. Right now, it looks like being Regulario because he's won the first 3 racks. Babkin Melkonyan, the sole Romanian through. He's 3-0 up on Mark Baishtabosh. Che Chia Chin 3-1 on Liu Riteng. 1-1 Alex Pagulainen, Alexander Kazakis. Max Lechner former runner-up in the US Open, 2-1 up on Nick Malay. Oscar Dominguez, he's 3-1 up on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz over on table 1. That's the Matchroom Multisport YouTube action for you. Sullivan Clark, very dedicated, ambitious New Zealander. He's 2-1 up on Vitali Pachura. Kopin having things all his own way against Elliot Sanderson at 4-0. In the Battle of the Brits, Chris Melling and Imran Majid 1-1. And Do Tae Kien is now 3-0 up on Albin Aushin. For Aushin, 2024 has been something of a wasteland. Niels Fine and this year's UK Open champion Robbie Capito going head-to-head. Fine's just taken a 2-1 lead. And Fine's fellow Dutchman Yannick Pongers 2-1 up on Jani Uski. Koping Han leads Jonathan Pinegar 2-1. And Jan van Leeuwen 2-1 up on Aloysius Jaap, who was the beaten finalist in the US Open in 2021.
Thank you for that, Phil. Fleur to break, the one just holding up. Also not hitting them at a very high pace. The 3-6. Well, the 6 came around the table and just rested on top of the 3. Do you take a chance now and go into the 6? And that's what he's looking at. Oh, you've got to be careful here. Yeah. Felt like the speed was always going to be off because of how the cue ball laid with the 1. You got to really bear down here and figure out where you want to catch the 2. There's an entire wall with the 3, 7, 6, 9. A couple miss hits there, Phil.
Yes, in the third rack, Filler broke dry and sat down for the rest of it. This time, the dry break will not be costly, at least not directly costly. Clock was down to a couple of seconds, but Filler had taken his extension.
Almost an extremely clever shot. I don't know that he can get the 3, Phil, into the lower right. But at worst, you can see a piece of it. Oh, yes. This is the brilliancy. The German has now just come up above the 6. Assume he's going to play the 6 in the left middle. Might be able to hold here. Yeah, he's looking to draw all the way back. Do you come to the second rail? Yes, he does. Now, this is pretty steep. Does he float it to in, or does he draw?
What a good rat this has been. So many intricacies and complexities. Not over yet, because the cue ball is close to that side cushion. And again, this is Joshua Filler. You don't expect him to miss a ball like this. He knew exactly what was going on there. It was one of the best dishes, I think, I've seen on this table all week. And it gets Filler back onto level terms at 3-3 after falling 3-1 adrift. Oscar Dominguez 4-1 up on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Dominguez fiercely determined to make his mark, to try and get on the radar of the US Mosconi Cup captain Skylar Woodward, maybe even qualify automatically. Max Lettner 3-1 on Nick Malay. Sullivan Clark 3-1 on Vitaly Patshura. Che Chen and Liu Riteng. Chen leading that one 3-1. Moritz Neuhausen. He's 4-1 up on Dennis Grabber. Niels Fine 2-1 over Robbie Capito. Matches to come, by the way, some crackers. Our co-commentator Jeremy Jones will take on fellow American BJ Ussery a little later. Johan Chur faces Naoki Oi. Skylar Woodward is up against Chris McDaniel. Carlo Biardo tackles Pius Labutis. And of course, next up on the main table, it is that mouth-watering clash, a repeat of last year's final, Koping Chung against Fedor Gorst. Pick your winner there.
Yeah, I'd say in the Koping Chung versus Feder match, Feder really needs to step his break up a little bit. It's probably what he will do. He seems to rise to the occasion. Similar to the man getting to break here. Joshua Filler rising to the occasion. The one is down. Yeah, but awkward on the two. If he plays it to the right side pocket, the cue ball's tracking towards the left side of the table. Almost think it's too thin to float. Using the 9 all along. Great decision. Keeping Mickey at bay.
Today, by the way, sees the start of the Shane Van Boening Junior Open. Today and tomorrow, the juniors will do battle.
I met a young girl yesterday, 10 years old. Nicknamed the Lilac Tiger. She is absolutely adorable. Looking forward to seeing her play today. Well, you know what, Phil? I almost feel like he deserves it. He made a great hit. He was real close to the 9 there. Go on, Mickey Krause. The Viking. Could this be a moment we look back on that changes the trajectory of this match? Now he's got some work to do. He's got to avoid the 7 and the 9. This is tricky. Oh, he's narrowly avoided the 9, Phil.
Regardless of the result here, There's no doubt in my mind that Krauss is now starting to feel as though he belongs. He belongs at Paul's top table, and he's playing with so much more freedom and self-expression. He's always at the game. Now he's got the self-belief to be able to use it. That 9 ball, it was wobbling and wriggling and just about fell. Mickey Krause relieved to see it fall. He's 4-3 up. Yeah, what a good year he's had. Everyone, of course, myself included, focuses on that European Open win. But the year was much more than that. He was runner-up in the Bayou State 9 ball early on. In the McDermott Classic, World 9 Ball Tour ranking event, placed 5th. Got to the last 16 of the UK Open. Over in Dubai, he was a semi-finalist in the Night Shot Open, last 16 of the World Championship, winner of the Mez Bucharest Open in the Romanian capital. Top 10 also in the Helsinki Open, and then came the major breakthrough at the European Open.
Yeah, Phil, he's earned $79,718 so far this year. Top 6 on the leaderboard. There was a time not too long ago when 79,000 would be first place in the money leading department. Well, it's not even close anymore.
Yes, and he's got one of those half cues will travel philosophies, and so he's going to be playing in plenty of tournaments between now and the end of the calendar year, big and small. It's going to be a brand new World 9 Ball Tour ranking event, not too far from here actually, in the Philadelphia suburbs in mid-September, the Pennsylvania Open.
Yeah, Phil, and I'll be covering that as well. Frank Milletti doing a great job promoting that.
Yeah, he was showing me some photos of his pool room the other night, Frank, and I must say, looks a cracking place.
Yeah, excited to go there. Some 40 tables, I believe, all in perfect, pristine condition. Mickey, the one missing just high again. Gotta wonder if Filler takes this on. The reason he's considering against it possibly is where the 2 lays. So the cue ball's tracking this way. Of course, he could possibly bank it to the right side pocket. But where's the cue ball finish? He's looking to bank the 1 down below the 7 and 9 now, I believe. Just kind of stunned upward, yeah, like so. Well, that ball checked off way more than he thought. So that 1 checked up a lot more than he expected. This might carry position if he can knock this 1 down. Yes, he's going to contact the pink. I think the cue ball runs through it. Might be forced to go rail first here. Not positive. Could force follow, hitting ball first, coming out below the 8, but it's going to be awfully steep on the 3, Phil. I think he's going rail first. Well, it's a little bit of a novice error. You hit it at that speed, you really lose control off that first rail.
Well, we're not too far removed from breakfast time, and he made a corned beef hash of that one.
And this is where Filler really shines versus a lot of players. They're going to try to get closer to that 3. Filler accepts it. Actually gets up for it. Called as extension. I don't think anybody's got more experience than he does with the long ball in these situations. Surprisingly caught it thick, Phil.
Yes, the other surprising thing, it wasn't the smoothest cue delivery. Just a little bit of a glitch there, I thought.
I'm glad you said it. Looked like he was quick and flinchy real quick in the backhand. Almost stopping the cue. Mickey sprinting around the table. You don't want to flirt with the 9 or 7 here. Oh, pretty classy by Krauss. That arm really starting to loosen up, it seems. Long bridge here, very long bridge. Well handled.
Mickey Krause halfway home. He leads 5-3, another 5 racks, and Josh Filler will be suffering an early exit. Filler, of course, has his name engraved on the Barry Berman Trophy. He won it in Las Vegas in 2019. He's won so much. Still only 26 years of age, doesn't turn 27 until October. But Mickey Krause providing stern opposition here. I thought when Filler got back to 3-3, he might just impose his authority. That's not been the case. Every match keenly contested out there. This is the quickest in terms of racks won. I think the only runaway right now is Moritz Neuhausen, who's 6-1 up on Dennis Grabber. Copigny 4-1 on Elliot Sanderson. Albin Auschen back in the thick of things against Dao Taekien, trailing only 3-2. Yeah, the vast majority of matches are real battles.
And a big miss by Filler there. Can Mickey Krause take advantage and extend this lead by 3 games? Needs a good break here. And one not down. Made a ball in the lower right. Fortunate the cue ball didn't scratch in the left side pocket. We'll get another look at that. Yeah, so the 8 got kissed in off the 6. Boy, I think he's laying pretty good to come over tight behind the 6-2 rails. Sending the 1 to the left of the 7. And a little firm. This is quite interesting. Yeah, so he's got to like double swerve. He's got to swerve to the right of the 6, or right around the 6, and then left around the 2. Yeah, so that was always the issue, but a pretty good shot from where he was, Phil.
Yes, he'll be satisfied with that.
Mickey might have to take on the long railer. It looks a little thin to play the 1 off the back of the 5. Cue ball will be crashing into the 2 if you go that route, but it seems like a big ball if you go long rail. Well, it did crash into the 2. It crashed perfectly.
Fella can't be too hard on himself there. I think he did pretty well, but not quite well enough.
Yeah, I agree, Phil. He was in a very bad position. Made the best of what he had. Mickey kind of took a gamble there, going into the 2 the way he did, but it paid off. And sometimes in this sport, you've got to gamble. Most likely staying. Oh, he's pretty steep here. I don't know if he can stay on the short side. Yeah, so he's going to come all the way over. This tells me something. He's done this since the beginning of the match. He's getting really close to his work, meaning the position is nice and tight. You said something earlier, Phil, and I think it rings true. He knows he belongs here now.
Yeah, most certainly. The light has been switched on. By the way, watching Krauss knocking these balls, just in front of our commentary position, I'm going to tell you a story at the end of this rack. Heartwarming story. Nothing heartwarming for Joshua Filler. He's in trouble here. Mickey Krause has won 3 racks in succession to lead 6-3. Yeah, the tale I was telling you about. There's a Japanese youngster playing in the Shane Van Boening Junior Open, and he's just walked in with his father, and he got to meet Naokioi. The smile on his face lit up the room.
Yeah, I just happened to be watching the same thing as you. I don't know if he's got tears in his eyes or not, but he was just rubbing his eyes, and I think that's a special moment.
While Krause sits there, all business. Let me give you some scores. Sullivan Clark 3-2 over Vitali Pachura. Oscar Dominguez 4-2 on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Max Lechner, same over Nick Malai. Alex Pagulayan and Alexander Kazakis, they've been playing for an hour. It's 2-2. That is hard fought. João Grillo and Bernie Regulario, the winner of that will play the winner of our match. It's 3-3. Same for Mark Bosch de Bosch and Babkin Milkonyan. Same for Liu Ritang and Che Chia Chin. Only 3-1 for Ko Ping Han over Jonathan Pinagar, who isn't the quickest. Do Tae Kien 3-2 on Albin Aushin. 4-2 for Imran Majid over Chris Melling. 4-2 Ko Ping Yi over Elliot Sanderson.
Yeah, and the 1 is down. What's the 2 going to do? It's going to finish directly behind the 8. I was just going to touch on this score line. I don't think anybody can be surprised that Mickey Krause is up 6-3. He's not going to just hand it over to Filler. Filler, he's going to have to earn it now.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that Filler's going through a crisis at the moment. He's had a pretty good year. But I think by his standards, it is a low time for him. And of course, Krause is entirely the opposite. He's got the positive energy. It's only a matter of time before Filler starts to buzz again. But will he be here? If it is, he'll need a fine comeback.
A little bit surprised here. I don't know if the 2 passes the 8 in the lower left. But if you go up table, this is that rollout situation I'm concerned about. I don't feel that Mickey has a lot of experience in that department. If you go up to the right side of the table, you are really kind of entrapping yourself. Yeah, I would rather go over here than to the top right side. Yeah, he might get this back. He might not.
When he pushed out in the second rack, he made a bad choice. He left the 2 in open play, and Filler knocked it in and cleared. This time, Filler wastes little time in putting him back.
Yeah, the problem is here he's got to avoid the 3 and 6. The 2's always creeping towards the lower left. Did he get lucky? Yeah, a little smirk from Filler tells me he got pretty fortunate there. Even if Filler can spin it. Yeah, pretty classy there. Still work to do.
But if you're going to nominate one player on the planet to knock in a 3 ball like this, it would be, for me, Joshua Filler.
Does the buzzer get him there, Phil?
Maybe the 7's got Krause.
I was just going to brag on Filler. Notice next time he elevates, folks, he knows exactly how high he wants that back arm. He never gets too far up. Just wants to make good contact here from the top end and try and get distance. Now he's got the bottom end. Where's this going to finish?
Please don't misconstrue this. Mickey Krause has not been outrageously fortunate. He's played nicely. But I think, on balance, he's had the better run in this match so far. Although that, for Filler, is somewhat clumsy. There's nothing unlucky about that. It was not quite as he wanted. He needed to be up against the 4. Has he left a shot at the 3? Wow. Well, it's all okay in the end.
Yeah, I was almost stunned in a way when he played the defensive shot behind the 4. He overspun it, as you said, clumsy in a way, but no broken bones. Well, I think he's barely gotten there on the pink. No, he's fine. Yeah, do you come 2 rails out, or do you just take what the table gives you here on the right side? Yeah, a little flinch in that stroke as well. He doesn't want to contend with the black 8. He's considering just rolling forward, taking the gap between the 7 and 9. He's coming all the way over. Absolutely. Good sign for Joshua Filler. That ball went in very clean. Just going to get some more around the middle here.
This is a much needed rack. (6-4). No surprise when the draw came out that this was going to be centre stage, and I think it's living up to expectations. Now, I was saying before that Josh Filler is in a low spell at the moment. Now, that is comparative. For anyone else, this would be a career year. Now, what he did at the Derby City Classic defied belief to me. It was the confluence of endurance and excellence. He won the Banks. He was third in the one pocket. He won the 9-ball. He won the Bigfoot Challenge. And, of course, he was master of the table. So what a start to the year that was, financially and confidence-wise. Third in the McDermott. Third in the Premier League. Runner-up in the Whirlpool Masters, lost out by a rack to Fedor Gorst. Quarter-finalist at the UK Open. Last 16 of the World Championship. He won the Night Shot Open in Dubai. And a quarter-finalist at the European Open recently. So, all in all, it's been a good year. But he sets himself such high standards. Lately, I think he will be a little disappointed, especially with that last 16 departure at the World Championship in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Phil, and I think we set him high standards as well, just because we've seen what he can do. But winning the Banks, the 9-ball, third in the one pocket, and winning the Master of the Table at the Derby, most of us right away got the feeling that this guy was going to dominate. It was something special to see that week. He was like a freight train, literally, running through the entire event.
And the 9-ball was supposed to finish, wasn't it, on Sunday, but it finished sometime around mid-morning on Monday.
Yeah, Phil, I covered some of that. It was fun, but it was a bit draining.
That's diplomatic. That means it was a lot draining.
Oh, a nice kiss on the cue ball. What's the 3 going to do? I think everything's going to be fine. Not a good sign for Krauss. The way the last few balls went in, Phil, they were very clean. Typically, you can tell from a player's pocketing abilities or how the ball's going in as to how they're going to continue. I think we need to remember this scoreline here. Just get the sense that Filler is going to make his move. I believe the 4 passes in the lower right. I'm not certain if it passes in the lower left. He's got options. Wow, so he's going towards the 8 here, I think. And that's a little weak. I like to weld him up to the back of the 8. Pretty good placement of the object ball as well.
No contact.
Yeah, that's accurate, no contact, but I have to give Mickey some credit. That was very close to being one of the best shots in the event. Just fractionally missed the edge of the pink. Filler playing the percentages. Now this is nasty. The reason this is so nasty is that he's cut off. Well, I don't know if the 6 does have him the way he's looking. I thought the 6 might have him, and then the 8 also having a piece. Calling the extension. There is a 2-rail line below the purple 5. You don't want to overhit this to where they come back into the center of the table if you do make contact. Yeah, I felt like the 8 was a big ball there, Phil.
Yeah, this is a big rack, and it now should fall to Filler because everything is there for him.
I don't know, it's just weird to me. I don't feel like Filler's on all cylinders, to say the least.
Yeah, I know it's hard to articulate, but I agree. There's a vibe there. That said, though, we've seen this often where he doesn't look good and then something happens that stokes up the fire and away he goes.
Well, his pace around the table is very mild.
He controlled that rack tactically and then knocked in the balls. 6-5. Now, quite a story developing on table 1. You can see all of the action over there on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Oscar Dominguez leading the 2022 US Open champion, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, 6-2. Max Lechner, who was beaten by FSR in that final, 5-2 up on Nick Malay. Now Dominguez at the table here with an opportunity to make it 7-2.
Yeah, and a great shot there, dragging that cue ball with an outside ball. I tell you what, you've got to give Dominguez credit. He's played most of the events this year, but he's played well. He's stayed high up in the rankings. He's going to be hard to overlook, in my opinion. I think the table suits his style, Phil, and I think he's a real factor for the Cup.
Yes, he's also had previous Mosconi Cup experience, which is invaluable. We don't want to talk about the Mosconi Cup too much. Jason Shaw's here on a spying mission, listening to what we're saying, trying to gain some pearls of wisdom.
Yeah, he's trying to sneak up underneath me.
Listen, the day that Jason listens to what I've got to say, should be stripped of the captaincy. We'll stick with Dominguez to see if he can win this rack.
Yeah, I don't know what he's looking at there with the cue ball. Is he on a line where he's going towards the side pocket? If he decides to draw back, gosh, it would be hard-pressed to say you just want to come back 3 or 4 feet and take the bank on the 8. I think you've got to gamble and go into the back of the 9, force some type of an angle. At least. Yeah, so look at where he's putting his Q-tip. Tells me that he's going to draw back for the bank, so he really doesn't like where he's at here. And that's not where he wanted to be.
Meanwhile, Filler's just knocked in a peach.
Oh, nice cue ball. This is where Oscar Dominguez excels.
I must say I love these split screen moments.
Same here, Phil. I like it a lot. A little bit more action. It's a big moment for FSR. He has to make contact here. 7-2 lead. That's almost insurmountable. Dominguez with ball in hand on the 8 and 9 to take a 7-2 lead.
The winner to play, Sullivan Clark or Vitaly Pachura, which is 3-3 slow going.
And Filler starting to heat up. Was trailing 6-4. Actually, 6-3. Now it's all tied up.
Simultaneous 9 balls, almost within a second of each other. On table 1, Oscar Dominguez leads Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 7-2. On the main table, it's another comeback from Joshua Filler. If you're just joining us, he was 3-1 down, levelled at 3-3. He was 6-3 down, as Scott said. Now he's again achieved parity at 6-6. Max Lechner 5-2 on Nick Malay. Alexander Kazakis 4-2 over Alex Pagulayan. These are all last 64 matches, of course. Bernie Regalario was off to a flyer against João Grillo. Regalario, though, has been pegged back. He's only 5-4 ahead. The winner of that match will play Krauss or Filler in the last 32 later. Mark Weisterbosch 6-3 on Babkin Milkonyan. Che Chir-Chin and Liu Ri-Teng, the all-Chinese Taipei match, that's 4-4. Koping Han 4-1 up on Jonathan Pinagar. Now bear in mind they started an hour and 15 minutes ago. 5 racks played. Do Tae Kien 5-2 on Albin Aushin. That's on table 2. It's also on the Matchroom TikTok if you want to see it. Chris Melling was well behind against Imran Majid. Now he's in front at 5-4. Kopin Yi has been pegged back by Elliot Sanderson. 4-4 there. Moritz Neuhausen 7-3 over Dennis Graber. Janiuski 5-3 over Yannick Pongas. Niels Feijen in a battle of youth against experience. Feijen has the edge so far against Robbie Capito at 4-3. And Aloysia Schaap has a 4-3 lead over Jan van Leerup. I always think day 4 of these major World 9-Ball Tour ranking events, and when the tournament comes alive, it's quality all the way. Still plenty of tables going on, still plenty of viewing options. It's just a case of sometimes an embarrassment of riches. And a reminder on that score, our next match on the main table will be an absolute blockbuster. Ko Ping Chung against Fedor Gorsht. Other matches coming up a little later. Alexa Pachelsh against John Morra. And the one that we've got a personal interest in, our pal Jeremy Jones against BJ Ussery from the Carolinas. Chris Reinholdt, who has played Mosconi Cup for the USA in the past. He faces Jeffrey Ignacio later, and Jeffrey Rodder, who beat Joshua Filler in winners' qualification. He has a tough task against Viktor Zielinski of Poland. And one quick update for you. Do Tae Kien now leads Albin Aushin 6-2 The one in the side. Does the 2-ball play ball? Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's a big sign. That one going in and the 2 coming over nicely. This is right up fielder's alley. He can pinch back a couple feet. The 6 does play in the top left. Oh, this is a mishit, a pretty bad one too. Right at the last minute, I think the lower arm or the back arm goes to the right. Just a fraction. That's why he hit it wide.
Yeah, but they're the kind of mistakes, aren't they, you do not associate with Joshua Filler. Missed a 3-ball as well, didn't he, in the 8th rack from distance. That was uncharacteristic. Oh, but the straightaway scratch.
Yeah, it seemed like he didn't take any time after the break. He just gets down on this ball. Take a look here. Yeah, he didn't have anything on it either except a center top ball. Smokes that cue ball right in behind it.
That is a let-off for Filler, because after missing the 2, he might well have been punished.
Yeah, and I don't think there's another guy on the planet you want to allow that much space to. 7 does play in the lower right, so if he maintains an angle here on the 6, he can just come 2 rails over. And that's what he's going to do. So he'll catch the 3rd long rail down here on the lower left.
Look at this, Oscar Dominguez on a simple 9-ball to go 8-2 upon Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Some of the European giants, some of the mainstays of recent Mosconi Cup teams struggling today. Filler has got his hands full. FSR well behind, so to Albin Ocean.
Oh, look at this. Is he drawing out of this with power? Oh, he's gotten into it quite well. That was awful steep. He made it look awful easy. He can hold for this 8. Knowing Filler, he'll come up and down. Makes the ball missable, though. Oh, how's he done? Looks pretty good, Phil.
On a dime. And I think we're going to see a first. That first being Filler in front for the first time. Distracted on the 9-ball, had the good sense to step away, readdress, and he leads 7-6. That is 4 racks on the spin for the German. Max Lechner, 6-2 now over Nick Malai. Tightening up in the all-Alexander battle. Kazakis 4-3 over Pagulian. Bernie Regulario now pulling away again against João Grillo at 6-4. The explosive break of Mark Bijsterbosch. What a good lad he is from the Netherlands. He's 7-3 up on Babkin Melkonyan, who made the quicker start. The Uri Teng, 5-4 over Che Chia Chin. 4-2 now, Koping Han and Jonathan Pinagar. As I was saying before, Do Taekien leads Albin Ocean 6-2. Chris Melling and Imran Majid are good friends, and there's nothing to separate them in the match. They're playing on table 23, 5-5. And Moritz Neuhausen, 3 racks away from victory over Dennis Grabber at 7-4. Niels Fein and Robbie Capito. I thought that was tough to call before the start, and so it's proving. On table 9, the first 8 racks have been shared. And a shout out to Elliot Sanderson, the shouter. He's done well to fight back against Koping and get it to 4-4. That was a really tough draw, but maybe Sanderson could pull an upset.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. While you were giving the updates, oh, looky here. Flight 39 leaving Atlantic City real soon. I noticed that Filler was wiping his nose with a Kleenex, maybe a bit under the weather.
Well, he seems to be perennially under the weather lately. It's a really brutal lifestyle, travelling here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, looking to stretch his lead by 2. Not even close. Seemed like he never got comfortable on the line. Looked at it a couple times, got off of the ball once.
When he lost to Mustafa Alner in the European Open quarter-finals, by his standards, it was a shocking performance. It really was. Now, today hasn't been like that, but there have been mistakes cropping up you do not anticipate.
Yeah, it really just doesn't feel like Joshua Filler to me. And Mickey has to sense that and take advantage. Nice bank starting this out. He's going to have to go to the middle here, I think. If he does, it's missable.
Yeah, it's one of those shots that you might think, watching on TV, is plain and simple. It is not. These middles are brutal. Catch that far jaw, you are toast.
Yeah, and the reason he hit it wide is because he was scared to hit it real fat. You catch the point going in, and it's even worse.
Now this is table 2 on the Matchroom TikTok. Albin Ocean now trailing only 6-3, but still with an awful lot of work to do.
Yeah, and back to Filler. You've got to admit, Mickey's had multiple opportunities to creep away in this match. That was almost too wide. He's got it down. At one point, leading 6-3, the Viking. Now, looking to trail by 2. Filler just 2 away from advancing.
By his standards, this isn't a display that's anything to write home about, but it's all about the W, as they say, and he's now 2 racks away from progress. Jani Uski, very consistent player from Finland, leads Yannick Ponga's 6-4 over on table 25. Dennis Grabber fighting back against Moritz Neuhausen. 7-5, Neuhausen's lead. Alosha Schaap, love the key action. Runner-up in this in 2021 to Carlo Biardo. He's got a narrow 4-3 lead over Jan van Leeuwen. Niels Fine 5-4 over Robbie Capito. 5-4 now, Copigny over Elliot Sanderson. We saw the decisive 9-ball from Albin Ocean on table 2 in rack 9. That means Do Tae Kien of Vietnam leads 6-3. There is no change in the score in that marathon on table 20. 4-2, Ko Ping Han. Liu Riteng 6-4 over Shea Chia Chin. And at the top of the draw, it's now 8-3. Oscar Dominguez over Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Max Lechner looking good. 7-2 over Nick Malai. 4-4, Alex Pagulayan and Alexander Kazakis. 4-3, Vitaly Pachura over Sullivan Clark.
And the 1 down. I believe he's going to get a look at the 2. Now the 6 here to ruin the party. He might take the combination on. He just doesn't seem himself, though. I'm going to call it what it is. He seems incredibly under the weather. His pace around the table is slow. Even how he played that last 9 ball, just kind of sliding it in. Oftentimes he'll hit it with authority, extremely clean. Just doesn't seem to be the Joshua Filler we want to see.
Yeah, I think subdued.
Extremely. Yeah, another error. I don't care where the cue ball finishes here. That wasn't an error. A big error. And Mickey can jump the 8, the 3 in the lower left. Really all your focus in getting the 2 down. Shakes his head. From our view, Phil, it does not look like he's got much of the 8 to jump. He's done it well. Does it clear the 8? He needed this badly. Now coming around the purple. Don't want to hit this too hard. It's real easy for the cue ball to deflect right into the purple. So you've got to smooth this in behind the purple. Oh, that was as good as you could do. Almost thought it was a tick too hard. Turned out perfect.
Yeah, this is a gut check for Krauss. Has to take them. Doesn't want to see Filler on the hill. 3 up, 4 to play.
And I think you've got to come to the 3rd rail here, meaning the top rail. You don't want to deal with the 8. No, he's just going to roll out to the center. That works as well. Nicely done. Tell you what, he's a very quick-paced player. Sometimes misleading in that way. He is playing with a maple shaft. No carbon fiber, no low deflection for the Viking.
And Mickey Krause arrests a slide. It was a 5-rack run for Joshua Filler, but that's been punctuated. Filler's lead reduced to 8-7, and as soon as he left that 2 ball close to the pocket, even though Krause had to jump, you could see from Filler's reaction he feared the worst. Now let's take a look on table 1. This is significant action. Oscar Dominguez, 3 balls away from the hill against Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz.
Yeah, and Oscar's been the topic amongst a lot of us off the table in the back rooms. He's put the work in this year. But we really feel like the rules and the equipment fall to his favor.
Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz is an exceptional talent, but he will need to be. He's 9-3 down. That means he has to win the last 7 racks to stay in the US Open.
He's squeaked the 1 down. What's the 6 gonna do? Did it stop in time? I believe it has. Another look. Right into the 9 like he's supposed to. He's got to look at the 2, Phil. And it leads to the 3.
Yes, a tale of 2 sixes at the start of the previous rack. The 6 was the spoiling ball. It prevented Filler knocking in the 2, but it doesn't spoil Mickey Krause's potential run out. Far from it. Facilitated the run out.
Yeah, and this is the shot, the 4 to the 5. Shot of the rack. Does one rail down to the left long rail. Oh, he almost missed that ball. Seemed like he one-stroked it. Heart rate might be up. I also think that's what happened when he came back from the break. Literally got down quickly and just followed the ball straight in the hole. Yeah, you can almost sense the heart rate getting up. Mine is.
Even in a match with 2 exceptionally talented players, you can never guarantee that it's going to be close and dramatic. It could be a one-sided affair if one player gets on top and has the rolls. This one, whatever occurs from here, has been superb to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a race to 2 from here.
Twice Joshua Filler fought back onto level terms. Now it's the turn of Mickey Krause. 8 racks each. And of course, with the winner breaks format, Krause now, you have to say, is favourite. Very much favourite on table 8 is Max Lechner, who's 8-2 up on Nick Malai. Alex Pagulayan back in front against Alexander Kazakis at 5-4. Vitaly Pachura 4-3 up on Sullivan Clark. The winner of Pachura and Clark will take on FSR, or more likely Oscar Dominguez. Bernie Regulario 6-5 over João Grillo. It's 7-4 Mark Bosch de Bosch against Babkan Milkonyan. 6-5 Liu Riteng against Shea Chia Chin. Koping Han being pegged back against Jonathan Pinagar. Ko's lead only 4-3. There's been a lead change on table 23. Imran Majid is now 6-5 up on Chris Melling. Elliot Sanderson sticking with Kopin Yi, 5-5. Moritz Neuhausen 8-5 on Dennis Grabber. And on table 1, are we about to see the end of the match, the end of Francisco Sanchez Ruiz at the US Open of 2024.
And I don't know if you can really even put anything on Ruiz. I think credit goes to Dominguez in this match. Seems like he's been in control for at least the last half of the match.
What a massive result this would be. And Skylar Woodward, the US Mosconi Cup captain, must be watching this with great interest.
Dominguez, do you call it an upset? I don't know. 1 ball away, Phil, from a huge win.
The Oscar for the distinction of being the first player into the last 32 goes to Dominguez. He's defeated Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Nay, he's trounced Francisco Sanchez Ruiz by 10 racks to 3. Another step towards that Mosconi Cup dream.
Yeah, rolled out to pretty much a full ball jump length of the table. Now, we visited this position early in the match. His rollout's questionable. He's going to get it back right away.
Yes, in most aspects of the game in this match, they've been pretty equal. But in terms of push-outs, definitely not.
No, I think Mickey needs to revisit this film for starters, and probably many others, and just understand that that area needs a little more attention.
Because, Scott, we can't overstate, it is an integral part of the game at this level.
Yeah, it's actually one of the most overlooked but most important parts of the game.
Keep quiet, Jason's back.
There's a nice strike from Filler. He gets up for this. When he has to win, he seems to do it. Well, I tell you what, this is not straightforward.
He would have loved a little secondary nudge on the fall.
Can he chop this in and beat the right side pocket on the low end? Get to the top rail, the left long rail. Basically what I'm saying is 4 rails out. Needs to run. It's doable, but it's awfully thin. It's just going to have to let the cue ball go. It's going to end up below the 7 most likely. Now he's elevating. Going to the top left, I think. Now he's elevated the cut. Something special there. You don't see too many players do that.
Now we saw in rack 14, Krause missing a 5-ball to middle, not dissimilar to this.
I played to crash into the top side of the 8 with very good control. Well, Phil, once again, it was off a push out from Krause. He's lost several games this match due to that play.
Yeah, 3 for definite. And so, Josh Filler not firing on all cylinders, as Scott said earlier on. He was quite right. He was very observant about that. Nevertheless, Filler is 1 up with 2 to play, and he will be breaking on the hill. Also on the hill, Max Lechner, 9-2 over Nick Malai. Vitaly Pachura, 5-3 on Sullivan Clark. If Pachura comes through that, he will play Oscar Dominguez next. By the way, I can tell you, Max Lechner has defeated Nick Malai 10-2. So, Lechner awaits Alex Pagulayan or Alexander Kazakis next. Max Lechner, one of the finest European players yet, still waiting for his Mosconi Cup debut. This year's Mosconi Cup will take place in a brand new state, the Sunshine State of Florida, in the heart of the fun in Orlando. It's at the Carib Royale Resort, which I'm led to believe is a simply outstanding facility. Total luxury. But which team will have the luxury of lifting the cup? It takes place from November 30 to December 3. The crowd will be immense. Tickets have sold like wildfire, as they normally do, and the atmosphere in there will be simply electric. I think USA have got one of the best chances they've had for many a year under the captainship of, or the captaincy, I should say, of Skylar Woodward. But then again, Europe under Jason Shaw, we know how inspired he gets at the Mosconi, and they will have a quality quintet, whoever makes the side.
Oh, the one firing in. What's the cue ball do? It's going to stay high of the lower left corner. Is the 2 makeable? You just can't get a read out of Filler this match. His energy is not there. So I believe he's going to the jump cue. You can see we've got a perfect line. Or is this the playing cue? Just going to jump a sliver of the 6. Pretty good control. What's the 9 going to do here, Phil?
He will be thinking, not again.
pretty cold-blooded right there for it to finish right in front of the 3. Is he going to jump again? He's going to have to land on top of this ball if that's the case. No. Okay, he's not jumping. Wants to kick to the top side of the 3. Oh, this is class. This is class.
One of the finest shots of the tournament so far, especially given its context. It's not the first rack. It's when the heat is on.
Mickey needs to come with the same. Well, this is also class. Back-to-back kicks at the highest level.
Yeah, magnificent reply.
Is he going to the 3 in the lower right corner? He's got sideboards off the 5. Well, he was trying to. It was a miss hit. Obviously difficult with the jump cue.
What a chance. Tied all up.
Nice clean strike there. Center cup. I would say this is turning out to be the most important rack of his U.S. Open event so far. What's that to settle? Oh, perfect. Yeah. Straight. Would like to have been below the 7. So we could just float up for the 8 in the left middle. Might have to take a new route here. Wow. Going from corner to corner.
Hill. Mickey Krause. He's a master of brinkmanship. Remember, in winners' qualification, he was 8-5 down. Beat Coping Han 9-8. Today, 8-6 down against the great Joshua Fuller. Now it's all tied up. One rack to determine who stays and who goes. Oh, what a cracking start to our day's coverage.
Yeah, Phil, you can't ask for more than this. 9 apiece. It hasn't been ideal, but it also hasn't been bad. Mickey's played pretty solid. Filler not flowing in all gears yet.
And of course, everyone wants their name on the Barry Berman Trophy. It appears in 2019 for Joshua Fuller. But he wants it back. As for Mickey Krause, what a double it would be if he could go European Open, US Open in the same month. One of them will have their dream shattered. The other one will keep it alive. It's all about this rack coming up. And Krause, again, he's in the role of favourite because he gets to break. Always at this stage of a match, you're hoping it's not a golden break. That would seem somewhat anticlimactic.
actually felt like that was one of the best hits he's had this whole match. The one tracks just high of the left side.
Yeah, the opposite of golden. It's dry.
Yeah, does he just chip off the 1 and use the 2 and 9? Or does he have something more in store? Yeah, just chipping. Does he kick full behind the 1, trying to bring it back down table and use the 2 and 9? He's got to miss the 5, the 3, the 8. Oh, he's gone straight to the side. Instead, the cue ball's gone straight in the side, Phil.
Audible gasp. He's a very popular sort, is Mickey Krause. He's got a lot of support out there. And when this cue ball went in, the crowd groaned.
You always run the risk of losing the white. Playing a kick shot like that. Now this needs to get up a little. He should be fine. He can come back and forth below the 3. Just a pinch of inside. Yeah, well done.
He's coped with the most intense pressure in both individual and team environments. He's won Mosconi's, a World Cup. He's won everything pretty much individually. But you know the old phrase, you're only as good as your last match. He wants to win this badly. Can he cope with the pressure this time?
Looking to stay out towards the center here, I think, a little bit. And this is what Filler does. Is he affected by the 7 at all with the bridge hand? Yeah, it's a little awkward. I don't expect him to miss.
I was a little concerned there because the cue ball seemed to rest in the indentation on the apex of the rack, but no problem.
Does he try to beat the side pocket and come below the right-hand side? There's nothing wrong with staying above the right-hand side pocket. Called the extension. His thought process wants to be closer to the 7. Oh, he stayed above it. I think that's the smart play, Phil.
He wanted to win this match 10-0, but I'll tell you what, if he comes through 10-9, it might be just the fillip, the boost he needs.
Yeah, let's see if we get a little emotion out of him at the end of this.
I'm pretty sure we will. What a smashing match. Mickey Krause looks like being defeated. Joshua Filler is victorious. There was no shout out. I think he's just awash with relief. He's come through by 10 racks to 9. He's into the last 32. But boy, that was running it close. Well, that was a great start to the day for our coverage. Now he's happy. Now he's doing the fist bump. Next up, well, the excellence continues because it's a repeat of last year's final here. As Joshua Filler celebrates, who will celebrate next? Fedor Gorst or Ko Ping Chung? That's coming your way in around 5 minutes' time.